folks, welcome to Calvin's Got Game. Today I'm doing my monthly mix-up. What is monthly mix-up? Well, this is the first one of 2021 for January. This is where I tell you about the games that I had the most fun playing and also the games that were new to me. But before I do that, if you guys have not subscribed to this channel, hit that subscribe button, click the bell for notifications when new videos come out. And also, if you like this channel and you like what I do, I got some new things coming this year. So if you'd like to support the channel, go to my Patreon account and become a supporter today. I sure would appreciate it. All right, well, let's get started with the games I most enjoyed playing. Now, I played a lot of games this month. I played 49 games this month. So quite a few were new to me, and I had some that I really enjoyed playing. So let's get started. My most enjoyed playing games is Chronicles of Crime. These are in no particular order, but these are games that I really enjoy playing. So Chronicles of Crime by Lucky Duck Games. It's for 1 to 4 players, 60 to 90 minutes to play. Guys, I have a blast with this game. You're scanning these cards, trying to find who did what. And you get to talk to different people. You have a forensic scientist, you have a hacker guy, you have a doctor, you have, I can't remember what the other guy does, but anyway, criminologist. So you can talk to these guys and you click these QR codes on these cards and it tells you what's going on. You always go back to Scotland Yard and talk to the chief if you need something. You go to these different locations, you discover new people. Man, it's a lot of fun. Now, I have to say, for the trial case, the first little scenario where it's a walk you through, done a fabulous job on that one. The second one, not so much. I got kind of lost going around to each deal. I kind of got things a little mixed up, but I still enjoyed it. It's a lot of fun. Scanning those cards, really cool. Then there was Dream Home by Rebel Games, 2 to 4 players, 30 minutes to play. Now, Dream Home, my wife enjoys this game, and what you're doing is you have a little home and you're trying to put these rooms inside of the home. But you can't build a floor on top of nothing, so you got to build kind of from the ground up. Now, if you have something on the second floor, you can put something on top of it on the third floor. And if you don't have a garage over here, you can't build to the second floor or to the third floor. What you're trying to accomplish, you get some points by putting living rooms together, kitchens together, playrooms. Bathrooms are kind of by themselves, but and at the end, if you have all these certain things in it, you get bonus points. And if your roof, which is kind of a weird thing, if you have a roof, 4 cards, doesn't matter what color the roof is, you get those points. But if you have 4 of the same color, I think it is, maybe it's 4 or 5, you get bonus points. But the deal with the roofs are when you draft cards, you take 2. You take a roof and a room. Or if you want the first player marker, you take a room and you'll get the first player marker. So you can choose next first. But the roofs you put face down on your board so you don't remember what color you took sometimes. So you have to it's kind of a memory thing there, and then drafting your rooms to try to place them in your house to make it the best it can be. I've had a whole house one time didn't even have a bathroom in it. I've had a house that didn't even have a kitchen. So there's a lot of ways you can make this. I don't always win it, but it's a lot of fun. Dream Home by Rebel Games. Next is Fable Fruit. Now, Fable Fruit by Stronghold Games, 2 to 5 players, 20 to 30 minutes to play. A friend of mine had this in a game group, Josh, and we played it. I really liked it. It kind of stuck with me, but I only played it once. But it kind of stuck with me, and the whole idea of opening new cards as you play. You have this big stack of cards, and you start out with a market, if you will, where you're buying cards with these fruit. You're trying to satisfy the fruit deal on the cards, or you can just go to them and do their special ability. You have this little deal, but you can't go to it if you have another person on it, and if you do, you have to give them a card. But if you complete the fruit, the first person to get, I think it's 4 or 5 fabled fruit juices. When you turn the card over, it becomes a bottle of juice once you buy it. But once you buy a card, you'll take a card and put a new one out. Now, it could be some of the same that you already have out there, or it could be a brand new card with a new ability. So I thought the game was really cool. I enjoyed it, and it's something I picked up as well. Fable Fruit by Stronghold Games. I just enjoy the game. And then there's Roll for the Galaxy. Now, Roll for the Galaxy is by Rio Grande Games. 2 to 5 players. 2 to 5 players. 45 minutes to play. Now, Roll for the Galaxy. Once again, my friend Josh introduced me to the game. We played it, and there's something about rolling those dice and assigning them to certain things that you can do, and then being able to follow other people's actions that they chose. Really, really intrigued me about the game. So I went out and bought it. You can see it right over there. I picked it up because it was such a good game, and I really enjoyed it. Now, Above and Below by Red Raven Games. 2 to 4 players, 90 minutes. Above and Below is probably one of my favorites by Red Raven Games. I'm waiting on Sleeping Gods, so we'll see. But Above and Below is one of my favorites from Red Raven Games. I played Near and Far. It was a little more complicated for me. Not complicated, but more in-depth, I suppose. So I really enjoy Above and Below. It's simple. My wife enjoys it. I can teach it to pretty much anybody. It's such a great game. You are building buildings. You're exploring down below, going to these caverns, doing some missions, if you will, where you have to roll lanterns or whatever they're called. Man, it's just really fun. You get this little story, little bits of story, and you're doing these things. I enjoy it so much. Above and Below by Red Raven Games. And then there's Legacy of Dragonhold by Fantasy Flight. 1 to 6 players. Takes about 60 minutes to whenever you want to stop. There's no time limit. You'll finish a mission or a road or whatever they call it. The first mission is called 2 New Roads. It is a very much choose your own adventure type game. Okay? There's a huge vast of decisions to make. You get to create a character in Legacy of Dragonhold. I enjoy this game so much. If you're a D&D fan, Dungeons and Dragons fan, this is kind of having a D&D experience without the Dungeon Master. I really enjoy Legacy of Dragonhold. It is one of my favorites. I don't play it enough, so I would say it's probably in my top 20 for sure. So Legacy of Dragonhold, such a great game. Now, those are the games I had the most fun playing for January this month. So let's get to what was new to me. Well, let's go with Discoveries, The Journals of Lewis and Clark by Asmodee and Ludonot, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, games. 2 to 4 players, 60 minutes to play. Now, in Discoveries, The Journals of Lewis and Clark, you're rolling dice and you're placing those dice on your board to do things, to explore places that haven't been explored yet, and you put them under your journal, okay? And you're going to score points that way. Well, not only that, but you get to befriend Native Americans. They help you along the way, so you can befriend those folks. Or there's some wary tribes out there that you still can become, I'm not going to say friends with, but you become allies with, I guess is what it would be. But it's such a fun game. I really enjoy the whole assigning my dice. I lose dice to the board depending on what the icon is. It goes on one side or the other of the board. And when I get low on dice, I can just use my whole turn to recall my dice. But here's the crazy thing. I can recall all my dice, or I can take all the dice that may be on one side of the board, which may have some of my opponent's dice in it, some of the other opponent's dice. But you get them all, and you get to roll them and put them in your deal. Now, the thing is, if they want to recall all their dice, they can take them back from wherever they are. Whether they're on the board, on your board, whether you're fixing to use them or not, they can take them back. So it's kind of a pressure luck kind of thing there of if you want to use those other dice. Really, really enjoy Discoveries, The Journals of Lewis and Clark. Then, Holding On to the Troubled Life of Billy Kerr by Hub Games. 2 to 4 players, 45 to 60 minutes to play. Guys, this game has drawn me in. I constantly want to see what's going on with Billy. Billy is a guy who this is kind of the storyline, I guess, on the back. He had a heart attack or something on the way back on a flight. They took him to a hospital, and the nurses are there, and you're trying to, each day there's a morning, noon, and an afternoon shift or a night shift. So you have a morning, midday, and a night shift. So you're assigning nurses to his care every day if you're the charge nurse. So the charge nurse assigns the nurses, but the lead nurse that's on that day gets to decide what to do with Billy. Now, do they take care of Billy with medical care, or do they do palliative care where they actually talk to Billy and try to help him work through whatever's bothering Billy before he may pass away? The game is kind of weird, but boy, I just want to see what's going on with Billy and what happens in his life, because you have these timelines in his life that you get these fuzzy memories of him at first when you're talking to him, because who knows, he may be just tired, and maybe it's the medication that he's taking, these fuzzy memories. But every now and then when you talk to Billy, you get a clear memory, and you're trying to match the clear memories to the fuzzy memories in the timeline to help you understand the story better. Guys, it's a really good game. I enjoy it greatly, and right now you can pick it up pretty cheap. So if you haven't played Holding On to the Troubled Life of Billy Kerr, I enjoy it a lot. So that's by Hub Games. Then Back to the Future, Back in Time by Funko Games. 2 to 4 players, 50 minutes to play. If you like Back to the Future, and you really like the first Back to the Future movie, this game right here is for you, because it has all the things, all the characters, the DeLorean, Doc, and all the characters, Marty, and everybody is there. And you're trying to get George and Lorraine to fall in love before your picture disappears, fades away like it does in the movie, and you're trying to get the DeLorean to the right spot at the right time. Not as easy as it sounds. We played a couple of games of it and didn't win either time. It is really difficult. But the good thing is this is fully cooperative game, and you can help each other out. You can use your dice. They could use your dice on their turn if you're with them in a space to accomplish something. But the problem is you're not going to have those dice to use on your turn. So if it's somebody behind you, now if it's an end turn, if it's the last turn, it's good for everybody to kind of gather up together to try to push things along. But Back to the Future, Back in Time, I actually have this one on order, so it's coming. It's such a great game. By Funko Games. Back to the Future, Back in Time by Funko Games. Then Gloomhaven, Jaws of the Lion by Cephalofair Games. 1 to 4 players, 30 to 120 minutes to play. Gloomhaven. I've had the Granddaddy Gloomhaven over here, the big box, for months on my shelf. It's just too daunting to look at and to unbox to get out on the table. Now, Jaws of the Lion, Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion, I was leery about getting it, but I got it because it kind of gave you that it's going to teach you how to play during the scenarios in the scenario book. Does a fabulous job of that. I enjoy it, and when I finish Jaws of the Lion, I'm going straight into Gloomhaven, and I'm going to continue my quest for what I'm going to do there. I really think Gloomhaven, Jaws of the Lion, they really did a great job of drawing you in to the world of Gloomhaven with their scenario book, walking you through all the rules, because you learn a new rule each and every game. Guys, I really enjoy Gloomhaven, Jaws of the Lion. They did a great job. If you don't have it, go check it out. If you don't want to buy it, find somebody who's got a copy, play it, and then you'll go buy a copy. And then there's Jamaica. Jamaica is an older game by GameWorks. 2 to 6 players, takes about 30 to 60 minutes to play. This one is a racing game. You're a pirate. You're racing around Port Royal. And while you're trying to get back to Port Royal, you're racing around Jamaica. But in there, you have, each person has their own deck of cards. They're all exactly the same, but you're only going to draw 3 at a time, so you may not have the same 3 cards as everybody in their hand when you're playing. So whoever's the lead person is going to roll the dice. They're going to pick a number to put on the day and pick a number to put on the night. So whatever's on your day symbol on your card, you're going to get that. If it's moved forward, you're going to move forward that many spaces. If it's moved backwards, you're going to move backwards that many spaces. If it's gold or cannons or food, you'll collect that amount of food and you put them in your hole. Now, you only have so many holes to put it in the ship. Cargo bays is what I call them. But once you run out of cargo bays and you have to put something else in there, you have to throw some stuff overboard. So, and each space you land on, except for the treasure spaces, has a cost. You either have to pay food or you have to pay gold. And so if you can't pay it, you're going to back up until you can find a space that you can pay. Now, if you land on a space with someone else, you're going to do a battle. So you'll roll the battle dice. You can use some of your cannons in your holding area, in your cargo bay, or whatever it's called, and spin those, and each one gives you an extra point on the battle dice. So if you roll a 5 and you spent 4, you'll get a 9. And then that person rolls, and if they beat you, they get to take something from your ship, or they can take one of your treasure cards, or they can give you a card. If they have a cursed treasure, they can give you that cursed treasure card. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to race around this board and you're trying to be the first back to Port Royale. And if you're the first to Port Royale, the game ends and everybody else they get to finish their turn, till it gets back to the first player. But at Port Royale, you'll get so many points and it goes backwards. You'll get so many points however close you are to Port Royale. But there is a line, and if you're behind that line, you'll get -5 points. So when somebody gets to Port Royale, everybody takes their last turn. Whoever you just add up your points, whoever has the most points wins. From your treasures, your gold, and your points you get being closest to Port Royale. Guys, this is a lot of fun. It's a racing game by GameWorks, Jamaica, 2 to 6 players. I enjoy it. Stampede by WizKids. Stampede by WizKids, 2 to 6 players, 20 minutes to play. This game is a simple little card game that has some iconography that's kind of difficult at times to figure out. You're just playing cards, trying to get four of the same animal in your stamp collection. Or you can get, maybe it's 5, or you can get one of each kind, and there's 9 animals. But each animal does something different, so you're going to have to figure out what they do, and then you have to do that action. So sometimes a card that you play is not going to help you very much. You'll have to do something you really don't want to do. I found the game to be okay. So Stampede, WizKids, 2 to 6 players, 20 minutes to play. Now Strike by Ravensburger, 2 to 5 players, 15 minutes to play. Guys, this one is, the box is the arena. You're chunking in these dice, trying to get sets of dice or more, and you take those dice, and you can stop, or you can continue going after, if you haven't got a set. But if you run out of dice, you're out of the game. You're not coming back. So Strike, you're just tossing dice in. It's a very quick game. But like I said, the box is the arena. I think it's something like you're supposed to think of them as gladiators. It's just throwing dice in a box. But it's a party game, and it's pretty good. All right, then Tiny Towns by AEG. 1 to 6 players, 45 to 60 minutes. Tiny Towns is your build. You have this board, and you're putting these cubes on it. The cubes are different color, and you're trying to create patterns of buildings to get those buildings. There's scoring reasons why you want to get these buildings. There's some cathedrals, there's taverns, there's mills, there's cottages. But each thing has to have, like cottages have to be fed. So you have to have a mill. Something else has to be fed, so you have to have a mill. But tavern, you get so many points for each one you have. There's a lot of things going on in this game. The pattern building can be kind of rough. There's two ways to play it. There's one way where the first person, the first player gets to just pick a cube like glass, brick, stone, or weed, I think it is. And if they call that out, everybody has to take that one and place it on their board. So that can pretty much, if somebody really wants to mess you over, they know you need one certain thing, they can sure mess you over trying to get it. Now, the other way to play it is by the town hall method, which I think I prefer most. You'll take a deck of cards that has those things on it, and you're going to flip it over. And you'll do that for 3 turns. On the 4th turn, it's the 3rd turn. You'll do it twice. And on the 3rd turn, there's a little hammer, and that's where we all get to pick what we want. So 2 times will be from the town hall telling you which product to take, and then the 3rd time is you get to pick a product you want. I like that one a little bit better. You have a little more control of what you're putting on your board than just calling out stuff and messing people over. So Tiny Towns, I liked it, by AEG. Check it out. Bees by Next Move, the people who brought you a zoo. Next Move games, 2 to 4 players, 30 to 45 minutes. Bees. The components are really nice, which I expect nothing less from Next Move. I mean, you look at Azul, Summer Pavilion, you look at all these other games that they make, I expect nothing less out of Next Move than some really nice components. The bees in this game are fantastic. Now, myself, it took me a while to figure out, okay, the bee can't fly straight, so he's kind of wobbling around. You know how bees do. They never fly just straight. So, how'd you like that bee sound? Anyway, so you're going to go in a certain direction, but you can only go so far in each direction. Like backwards, you can only go 3, diagonal forward, kind of diagonal forward, you can go 1 to 5, and it's like 2 to 4. I can't remember what the numbers are on the bottom of the bee, but you can only go so far. And you're picking up pollen, put it on your board, and you can only pick up so much pollen because once you get to a certain point, the game's going to be over. So you're trying to get as much pollen as you can, and there's ways that you place it on the board that you get to score more points. One of those things like a zoom, where you're putting tiles on the board to score points. The game is interesting. I enjoyed it. It's probably not something I'm just going to jump around to play every day. And if somebody asks me, hey, what game do you want to play? I probably won't say bees. But if somebody asks me to play bees, I'll gladly do it. It's a fun game, and I think you would enjoy it. So check bees out. It's not bad. I enjoyed it. And then The Captain is Dead by AEG. 2 to 7 players, 60 to 90 minutes to play. The Captain is Dead is a game I've wanted for a very long time. I heard about it on Kickstarter, or people were talking about it, and it finally made the Kickstarter. I didn't get to back it, and I've been just putting it off, buying it. I finally got it, and it is the sci-fi of like every cheesy sci-fi space exploration movie you can think of. This game's probably it. You've been attacked or whatever, and you are your ship is just damaged. There's aliens boarding and all this stuff, and the captain is dead. So you and your crew have to figure out how to get the stuff back together, to repair the stuff, to get the ship moving. So it is a cooperative game, and everybody's trying to work together, and you'll have your shields offline, you'll have ships firing at you, you'll have the computer system down, all these things breaking down that you've got to try to repair to get the ship back online. Not to mention you got to do the main core thing, trying to get it up and going. The game's not easy, but it's a lot of fun. The Captain is Dead by AEG. Godzilla Tokyo Clash by Funko Games. 2 to 4 players, 45 minutes to play. Godzilla Tokyo Clash. You are all these classic monsters from probably the 70s or whatever. You got Godzilla, Mothra, I can't think of the other two that were in it. I didn't remember one of them, but I know Mothra and Godzilla. But anyway, so you're going through and you're throwing buildings or throwing cars, and you're destroying buildings, getting points, and then you're also beating up the other monsters. So the game is quite fun. If you like a good smash 'em up, throw cars, and the miniatures are really nice in this game. Funko did a great job with the little miniatures. If you like a game where you're doing combat against other people and doing that kind of stuff, I think you would enjoy this game. I am not necessarily one that likes doing combat against other people. There are some card games I enjoy that do that. But Godzilla Tokyo Clash was just okay for me. It was enjoyable. Kelly from the game group had this game, and she brought it. I'm so thankful she did. I got to play it. Godzilla Tokyo Clash by Funko. 2 to 4 players, takes about 45 minutes to play. Guys, I got just a few more. Here we go. Let's see. Infinity Gauntlet by Z-Man Games. It's like a love letter style game. 2 to 6 players, takes about 15 minutes to play. Infinity Gauntlet. Guys, you're drawing a card, playing a card, trying to take out. Oh, it's one versus all too. One person, I think, plays Thanos or whatever it is. So he's trying to build that gauntlet, collecting these stones. So it's everybody else against that one. It's pretty good. I wouldn't call it as simple as Love Letter, but it's pretty decent. I enjoyed it. Infinity Gauntlet by Z-Man Games. Then there's Santa Monica by AEG. 2 to 4 players, 35 to 40 minutes to play. Santa Monica is a gorgeous game. Once you get it all laid out, you're building a boardwalk and an ocean front. During this, you have tourists that come, you have VIPs, you have locals that are there on your beach, and you're trying to get them to certain spaces to score points. Not to mention, some of the cards you place next to each other help you score points. So this is a really nice little card. Well, it's not a little card game. It's a pretty good sized card game with some meeples. It is pretty enjoyable. I liked it. Santa Monica AEG, 2 to 4 players, 35 to 40 minutes. Guys, AEG dominated this list. They had 3 games on here. Let's see who will dominate the list next month. Guys, I want to thank you for watching. Please hit that subscribe button. And I'd like to know what new games you played this month. Thank you for watching. Get a board game to the table. Spend time with friends and family. See you next time.